chat. All right, we're live.
All right, yeah, sorry. We are, and it starts with me blathering like this. It's a terrible way to begin.
All right, so Soundly here again, and I'm with Jesse Kozlowski. We're kind of doing a little planning session here for some observations we hope to make and for him to come down in October. And I did a little scouting this past Saturday or yesterday. And so we're going to talk about that, but also want to talk about Atchafalaya Basin and just basically take a look at all the different areas for Jesse to be able to set up his gear, how we're going to get gear in there, etc. So Jesse, what are we looking at here?
Oh, I have Google Earth open, and I have this little plug-in deal that where you can actually get USGS topographic maps. It's pretty handy. Like I've already downloaded all the ones on both sides of the causeway, but so over here, let me go get one here. I'll just show you what happens.
It's a Google Earth plugin, you said?
Yeah. If you look over here on my, I've got a lot of different handy dandy little plugins, and this one's called USGS Quadrangles. And
so guys from the USGS go out and survey the area, and then they create these maps.
Oh, these maps have been available for a long time.
I see.
Yeah, these ones are 7.5 minutes by 7.5 minutes. People who hike and go camping and stuff, you can go buy these maps, printed versions. These are downloadable PDF versions.
Nice.
And the USGS produces a whole series of topographic maps from large scale to small scale, but these are the most common ones. Here, I'll show you one here. Let's grab this one. So this one is from 2015, and I'm just going to click on this GeoPDF, and what it does is this little plugin takes you right to the USGS website, which we'll see pop up here in a second. Here we go. So I've already been just gathering information in a folder, and these are my USGS 7.5 minute maps. I've got a few of them already. And it downloads it as a zip file.
The 7.5 minute, is that a reference to like some type of accuracy level or something like that?
Oh, it's telling you the width and height. So when I open one, I'll show you what it looks like in the corners. You'll see it's latitude and longitude.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Quadrangle. So I'm using the plugin on Google Earth, but you can come to this site, which can be complicated, but you can actually select what version of maps you want. And this thing seems to be having a hard time right now. It's just spinning out, but so you can see I've already downloaded all these.
Right.
I'll open one up so you could see what it looks like. Pardon me. That's not what I want. Here we go. So let's here's one. So you could see the corner is 900730. West longitude, and the latitude is 302230. This is at Manville, so this is up at the other end of the causeway where it comes across to land. And then
North Shore is what they call that.
So you could see that this is west 0730 from the right corner, which is at 90 longitude. And then this will be 7.5 minutes of latitude down to this side here.
Nathan. By the way, Nathan's here. He's going to be keeping an eye on chat for us. And I see you're unmuted, so I was just making sure you didn't want to say anything.
Oh, hello. Yes. No, I keep muting myself because my keyboard makes a very loud noise.
I see.
I shall go back to muting myself. Carry on, Jesse.
Alrighty. So these are handy for, like I said, the whole country's covered with these maps, and you can also get like a 15-minute series. Some of the videos I've made in response to some videos I had seen in the past, like the one for, what was that called? A Mountain of Evidence by John McIntyre. And he was up in the mountains. Well, I went ahead and made a video showing him where you can get these maps. And actually the older versions back in the 1800s, these are all computerized, digitally made. The old ones were all hand-drawn. They're beautiful.
It's amazing.
So they're handy for planning. The other things I've been gathering are the nautical charts.
Oh, look, there's the towers.
Yeah, there they are.
Sure.
This is definitely going to be, if my PDF doesn't seize up on me here. So here, you can see the depths. The other day when I joined that Hangout late, and we were talking about hydrographic surveying.
Right.
And that's what you're looking at here. Is these are all depths. And
isn't that amazing that such a large lake is so shallow? Like, that's one of the things that always boggled my mind whenever I was a kid.
Yeah, and they'll tell you in the corners, what the reference is. That might be, I'm thinking these, if I have these correct, these are depths from mean low water. So, in a tidal situation, you're going to want the most conservative value, so that at high tide you could expect it to be deeper.
Right.
Here, I got this too zoomed in. Let me back out a little bit.
I don't think Pontchartrain really has huge tidal changes. The height doesn't vary that much.
All right, so you don't see it. You don't come along the shore and notice like a huge.
No.
Yeah, like it's way down or way up. Yeah,
right.
I'm used to seeing tidal waters, and you'll see the shore go. The water will be way out here and this type. But you're saying it's generally pretty consistent.
Yes, it's very consistent.
Yeah, so I guess these are the power lines. Yeah, it says right here, overhead power cable.
Nice.
Off centerline 40 feet.
If I might just start in with a quick couple of points. Usually one doesn't associate tides with lakes unless they're very huge. Is there a reason why?
That's true. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Lake Pontchartrain is not small, but it doesn't. I don't usually see tides. So
when I say huge, I mean I'm told that you might get a tide on Lake Superior of a few inches or a foot, maybe.
Yeah.
But it did occur to me that if the lake was, how should we say, had a very direct access to the sea, or a major river or something.
It's very close. It's very close to. It's very close to the Gulf, but it's still inland. I mean, it's still not.
I expect the rate of water flowing into it and out of it is probably controlled, though, isn't it?
Yeah, there is a spillway. There's a spillway in there. Yeah.
And the other thing was that chart. I remember looking at it a while ago in order to try and work out how many pylons there were. It doesn't seem to me that chart has anywhere near enough pylons on it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
one to one, or is it?
No, I don't think
for every.
Yeah, I don't think those markers are actually pylon markers. I think they're just marking the line where the pylons are, because there's like 85, 86. I can't remember the exact number. It depends on how you count them too.
There's only about 20 or 30 there.
Right.
So, so you're saying there'd probably be more in here, in between these. This is more of a map symbology, just indicating.
Right.
It's not actually every single tower.
Right.
All right.
Larry Scott in chat informs us that this lake has 20 centimeter tides.
There you go. Thank you, research team.
So that's under a foot. That's pretty good. And I was going to suggest that be the next piece of research we do, is we can literally find the tide stations. They are generally electronically available, so you can actually download that data. But 20 centimeters is, 30 centimeters is almost a foot. So
yes, not much.
Not much.
Right.
And so even if we did the idea that I'm talking about is, to take a boat and literally run some sections, and we could go this way, or we could go east-west or north-south, doesn't matter, just whatever we will feel like doing. If that tide rose and fell in the time we did that, it's, I think we're going to see more than a foot
right
across this. So, and like you said, that other, if we go back, let me close this. This is just the nautical chart. If we talk about the other spot, this one, I mean, this is practically, like you said, soundly, that this is almost like the Bedford level. And what did you say? It's about 7 miles. So
yeah,
did that crossover is about midway there?
It's almost exactly midway, which is kind of like another marvel of engineering, really, when you look at it. It's like exactly put in the middle there.
What's this thing here? A tower? Radio tower?
Not sure what that is.
It looks like a radio tower.
Yeah. So the thing about this location that I think would really work well is that there's land on both sides, so you can set up all your gear. You don't have to be rushed or anything like that. You don't have to worry about boats and things like that. And you could basically shoot from both sides. And then we could get in a boat and go do more measurements from the boat, or we could use the boat to set up targets, for example, on the pillars, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And that whole area right there is very, very steel. There's not hardly any wind. You can see it's very protected by the trees on both sides.
Yeah.
And of course you also have the pylons, which are also causing, interference as far as wind goes.
Right.
It's actually, when you go out there in the morning at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning before anybody gets in the water, that water is like a mirror. I mean, it's just so smooth. It's beautiful. Like it seems like the perfect spot for like a Bedford level type experiment. That bayou, by the way, is called the Little Tensas Bayou, Tensas Bayou. That goes right there in between those. That's the Atchafalaya Basin Bridge. So that's a bayou, but the bayou is kind of weird because the parts that actually peel off of that bayou are also called the Little Tensas Bayou, but that is actually part of the Little Tensas Bayou.
And when you say bayou, is this the bayou you're talking about? This?
The bayou is actually the water right there.
Water. The
water in between the bridges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But isn't that a man-made canal of some kind, or
no?
Did they just straighten it out a little bit?
Yeah, right. They basically just engineered through a swamp.
Okay.
They basically just engineered that waterway through the swamp for the bridge, and you can see some other ones too. The bayous are basically just like really, really slow moving rivers, is the way you can think about it. That's essentially what they are. But they're not canals because they're not like maintained like an artificial structure. They're just let to be natural, so to speak.
Okay.
Even though we've cut through there, obviously. Yeah. So, like I said in my other videos, that is probably one of my favorite locations.
It looks good.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a great. I think it'd be a great spot for what you do, especially because we're not running through jungle and stuff to try and figure stuff out. But going back to Lake Pontchartrain, there's also a number of good locations. I'm not sure, like on the South Shore, actually on the North Shore and the South Shore, there's places where you can set up gear. You can set up like I set up my telescope yesterday.
Check this out. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I got very excited to see there's vertical benchmarks. They did a level line through adjacent to where we're going to be.
Wow, that is awesome information right there. I need access to your information.
Let's take a look at one of these.
I'd like access to your information. I use Google Earth and swear at it for not telling me stuff I want to know.
You know what I can do is once we post this, I'll give a link to where people can get these little plugins.
Absolutely, man.
This is 1965. Some of these could be so old they've never been recovered since they were set, practically. And you'll have that. But let's go see. This thing's still spinning.
So you're saying like those metal slugs that they put in the ground, that's what those are right there?
Yeah, these are. I bet you one of these is probably still here. They are these discs set in concrete, or they could also be rods driven to refusal. Like these the more modern ones are a stainless steel rod driven to refusal. These old ones are just going to be brass discs, usually set in concrete.
So driven to refusal, that means they drive a pipe as far as it'll go to where it won't drive anymore?
Yeah, like the more modern ones, they started setting in the last 20 or so years since using GPS. They wanted something as stable as could be. I bet you this is still here. I'm just trying to find one that has a more recent recovery. This one's back in. This mark's believed to have been destroyed by construction, and that was in '76. I was just curious if there was some control nearby.
I gotcha. It looks like there's one right there by the levee. What is that one? J292.
This one here.
Yeah.
'76. I'll tell you what.
There was a 1992 date stamp up above. What was that?
Up here?
Yeah, what was that?
You're seeing the date of 1992?
February 1994 on BJO281. Oh no, that's not a line number.
This is just the retrieval. We're hitting the database right now. Like that's what's happening. You mean that?
No, I was looking at the orthometric height was determined by differential leveling and adjusted by the National Geodetic Survey in February 1994.
Right. So here's the thing. These marks, even though they're destroyed a lot of times, the whole level run that went from one town to another, let's say there's 50 marks that were set when they did that back in the 50s or so. You could lose half of them to construction. But some are still going to be there. They're going to be set in bedrock, or they're going to be set in a large, substantial structure like a bridge. Those will still exist. So in 1994, when they did an adjustment of all the leveling data, they don't throw them away just because it isn't there anymore, because they're going to adjust that entire level line. So it's still good data, but that mark isn't there anymore. But
I see.
Yeah, they sure did a lot of work through here.
Well, that's what I was always wondering. Like whenever I'm looking at these causeways, because this is not the only one, right? I mean, we say that when we say causeway, the causeway, right? When we say that,
back over here,
mostly people talk about the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway, the longest one over water. But around that area, all the roads are causeways. I mean, they're all
going across some water.
They're all bridges built on pylons across water. And that's the thing that, a lot of people confuse in the comments. Well, it's a bridge. Of course it's going to have humps. No, it's not that type of bridge. It's actually, there are pylons that are driven into the ground, concrete pylons that are driven into the ground. And then they put slabs of concrete over the top of those connecting the pylons. Mm-hmm. That's the type of bridge we're talking about. So we're not talking about, suspension bridge or something like that. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that particular area, I mean, I I want to maximize your time while you're here.
Sure.
And one of the things that I know for sure is that we can drive to both ends there, right? And we can, and all you need to get on that bayou right there, all you need is a small little aluminum boat with a motor on it. Like nothing big. So we could easily use that area and maximize our time there. Now there's also nice places by the North Shore Causeway where you can set up, and there's also nice places
up here.
Yes. Yeah. So there's actually the toll complex is just to the west side. There you can actually see it right now. Just the west side of the bridge, right by the water.
This thing here, yeah.
Right. So you can pull in there, and there's parking area and everything. There's like basically a place where you could set up, and you have like full nice shot from there.
Guess what I'm going to do while you're talking?
Look for the.
Yeah, I'm going to look first, see if there's some control here.
And I imagine there has to be, when you're building all this stuff across water and swamps, there has to be some controls, because it's not like you're building on granite. You're building on mush. But I have a shot from this location where I'm actually looking from the North Shore south, and I'm seeing the Marriott Hotel on the South Shore.
Okay, so you're over here someplace, and you're looking all the way across. Is that what you're saying?
I'm basically where your bullseye is right now. That's basically where I was.
Yeah, like in. Okay, so you're here.
Do you see where the? Go back to that.
Yeah.
Do you see where the land actually squeezes in down to the bridge? Scroll in right where you are right now.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, right there. You see the rocks right there, right under your mouse?
Yeah, it's like a riprap.
Yeah, that's where I was.
Oh, cool.
So there's a concrete, like a level concrete pad right there that I just set up on.
Like, okay.
It's actually right at the end of, right where your mouse is right now is where it is.
Yeah. What's that thing, like a weather station? Looks like some kind of
it's some type of electrical tower. It's not even a tower. It's just like a little box sitting there.
So you're here, and you're looking south at the Marriott, you're saying?
I'm looking south all the way to the South Shore, and I see the top of the Marriott.
Oh, well, yeah, we're going to do a whole series of things. One is setting the theodolite to be level, and looking at, we'll be set up at elevation, I don't know, I'm going to guess elevation 10, let's say, up there. And, chances are the horizontal crosshair of the theodolite set level will be, if not over top of the building over here, but certainly slicing through near the top of it,
I can tell you with certainty that it will be over the top of the building.
Over the top, okay. Is that here?
Just by eyeballing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be over the top, but it's going to be really close. I mean, there's the picture that I have. I'll show it to you in a minute whenever we get done talking about this stuff.
And then the same thing, if we do it from here, looking, back towards, what's the name of this town?
Mandeville.
Mandeville. I don't know what might be over here, but there might be water towers. There may be, I don't know if they have any tall buildings here, but
I'm not sure. They might have some towers you could see, like some. I'll have to think about that. But I can tell you though that it's not a normal occurrence during the summer. I haven't actually been out there with this mindset during the fall and winter when I know there's going to be clear skies.
Sure.
But during the summer, there's usually so much atmospheric haze that you can't see all the way across to New Orleans. Not from there anyway, not across by the causeway. So it's, for October, I'm hoping that things will clear up and we'll be able to make that like a guaranteed sighting whenever you come out. I'm hoping it will be.
Me too.
So there's another location. So so you can set up there easily. You could also set up down by the South Shore. Basically they have this walkway that it's a dirt walkway that walks all the way out to right by the bridge, almost water level, basically a foot or two above water level.
Somewhere over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, all that is just solid ground that you can walk out on. We could also set up in between the lanes, and the reason why I was considering setting up in between the lanes is, first of all, there's some nice concrete in there that you can set up on, and from one of my observations, I can see the second crossover, which is, I don't know the exact distance out, but it's a long ways out. And that second crossover is down at water level.
And you're talking about a crossover like for a state trooper to
yes.
turn around, do a turnaround.
Right. There's no emergency lanes.
Yeah.
Right. There's no emergency lanes on the causeway. So to move wrecks and to pull people over, they pull them over on this crossover right here. And I think you can actually turn around there, but I'm not sure. We probably need to talk to the Causeway Police if we actually want to stop on any of those.
Hey, check this out.
I don't think we'd need to, but
let's see if this thing's existing.
Of course, as I don't know, with your survey gear, they might not ask too many questions.
If we put vests on, we'll look so official, and and you. All right, 72. Oh my God, these things are so old. This might still be there though.
I mean, it's on the bridge.
Yeah, it's not.
So I really think that those locations are. We don't even need a boat. We can drive there. Could probably knock. I've actually done the tour, is what I call it. I went out to.
You've done the recon, yeah.
Yeah, I went out to the Chaffley Basin for sunrise, and I did the whole tour. I went to all these different spots that are easily accessible by vehicle, all in one day, and some detours. So. I definitely think we could do that, and that includes setting up, my gear, which is my telescope and my P900 and tripods, and carrying all that with me and setting it up. And I did all that in a day. So I definitely think we could make a lot of progress in those locations. But one of the locations that I wanted to pose to you as a potential location is not easy to get to. Well, I'll say it's not easy. If we had a four-wheeler, it'd actually be very easy to get to, which I don't have. But this is and this is another. I'm going to show you some pictures from this place too. This is it's called Ruddock.
Hang on one sec.
All right.
Go ahead. You can keep talking. I'm just going to text.
Yeah, so it's in Ruddock, and Ruddock is not a very. I didn't even know the name of the place until recently. There's not much going on there. It's mostly marshland and swamp, and essentially, what I did was I just hiked in. It was about. It's close to 2 miles. It's like 1.9 miles, hiking down a train track, basically.
Where is it? You want me to go spot it?
Sure. I mean, I could actually show you. I have it.
I'll switch back over. Give you the screen.
Yeah, let's see. I'll give it back to you in a second here.
Let's see. I should find.
I did that.
Oh, you took it back? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it's right here. This is my normal location for observation, like for the transmission lines.
You
It's
sure,
right.
your screen's up? Oh yeah, okay. I'm not looking at the live.
I'm looking at the live and I can't see anything soundly, just your logo.
Oh, well, it would help if I shared the screen. I presented myself but didn't share the screen. That's hilarious. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
So a normal observation point, this is Lake Pontchartrain for context, and this is my normal observation point right here, which is on 10, just south of 5510 interchange here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all railroad track that goes along the edge of Lake Pontchartrain.
Is it used track or not?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay.
And this is Ruddock right here, and right here is this little connection between US 51 and the railroad track. I parked right here, and I hiked into here.
Oh, that's a good spot.
1.9 miles. Now the problem here is that this is like all overgrown bush, and this is all like rubble. So this is all like concrete rubble. It's like not a solid wall. There's not many places that you can actually like set up. So if we're going to do this right, if we're actually considering bringing you here, then we should consider like bringing in some plywood one day and like making something, some type of platform where you can set up.
Really? Isn't it just like riprap? It's just like what, busted up concrete?
It's just busted up concrete. Yeah.
They made a riprap there, huh? But
so this would be in a cool spot because of what you can see from here, which is from here, and I'll show you the pictures in a minute again. From here, you can see the transmission lines from a side view.
Okay.
And the transmission lines are about 4 miles out, I believe.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find one here. Yeah, there's one. Okay, so.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to clear this one and do it again.
About 3 something.
About
4 miles, yeah.
So 3.9 miles to that one. I guess that's pretty close to 90 degrees right there. I mean, one of them's not at 90 degrees, somewhere up in here. Maybe this one. Pretty close anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually do have this draft where I went from, strapped across the horizon to watch the obstruction height change on the transmission lines, which I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
But I think that would be a cool spot because if you could actually target those things, we should be able to see that the ones to the left and right are actually lower than the ones in the center.
Yeah, I would think so. What's our elevation difference? Would be interesting if we could. I keep putting my mouse on the screen like I'm going to actually do something. How often are those tracks used? Is it a daily train or is it all day long?
Let's see. I got there around 3 and I didn't see a train.
Because sometimes it'll be a freight train that might come through once a day or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But because but you're saying that those woods are going to block the view, that patch of green between the tracks,
right?
And the riprap.
Right. Yeah, this is all much taller.
Yeah.
It's a little bit taller than the tracks.
Okay.
Even this wall is a little taller than tracks. I mean, you could theoretically set up over here, but I'm not sure if you would actually be able to clear the tracks or not. I'd have to look at that.
Yeah.
I'll show you some context here. I have a bunch of videos that I plan on sharing once we get done talking about it. And I can actually show you some videos from this area. Maybe I'll do that now.
Look up, if you go up to the north from where you are, just go along, go down, zoom into the that spot you have there, and then
Okay.
back down to that red marker. Yeah, where you're pointing. I mean, the riprap isn't up there, right? Can we maybe find a soft spot or a sandy beach? I don't know what that is. That just all mud?
Yeah, that's
pretty much mud.
Black mud, like nasty.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe we could find a spot, but I mean, this is all like tall grass and swampy, marshy stuff.
Yeah.
So in order to find a spot, I think we'd really have to like go scout it out with a boat, try and find something.
Oh, I've got a question for you. If you look on the old triangulation diagram, there are these points that were set out in the water. They must have been on some type of a platform. I don't know if those are still out there or not. Did you ever notice there's some platforms out in the water?
Yeah, there's rigs, there's weather science equipment, like for forecasting and stuff like that.
Yeah, with some weather stations and stuff.
Yeah, there's some weather stations and stuff, but
I just wondered if there was something we could get on, if we could boat out to it and get onto it and set up on top of that.
So there is a rig that's from this side. You can see from Pier 1. There's a rig out here. Let's see. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, look at that.
So, I mean, you could definitely set up here somewhere if somebody would let us. We'd have to figure out who owns that and do it. But from that location, you'd be able to survey some stuff. But I mean, if we're going to go there, might as well just go to Pier 1. Might as well just go somewhere on land because pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, we're trying to get ourselves set perpendicular to the line. A decent,
I'm not sure about.
What about if you go back to the causeway? Get on that boat there.
Yeah.
What if we go back to the causeway and see if we're be permitted to get ourselves situated on one of those crossovers? That first crossover. A little bit.
Maybe this one.
I think it's south, isn't it? South of that.
Oh, what are you trying to target?
The power lines.
Right. So let's see. The power lines are running essentially on
from there to there.
Essentially from there to there.
Right. So if we get on that, if we get on that first
right here, maybe. What about there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So here.
Yeah. Oh wow. So it's like 30 miles away.
No, that's
that's a full distance.
Yeah, it's a full distance.
Yeah.
But I mean this.
Yeah, but that's like, see how that's like, it's almost halfway up the power line.
It's going to be like a 10-mile shot.
Yeah, but that's cool. That's a good spot.
All right. Well,
I think that's a great spot. And that way, if we sight on the top of, let's say, the middle tower, what we'll call the middle tower, and then look right and left, we should see those things dipping away. We should see the infamous clown frown everybody wants to see. But of course, that clown frown that we're going to see will be caused by what? What will they come up with?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Perpendicular perspective.
Perpendicular perspective. There's a tower. Okay, there we go. 13. That's 14 miles. Let's 14 miles. We should.
I think it's great because we'll be up. We'll probably be up at how the causeway, or the bridge, or that platform there is about what, 10 feet off the water, 15 feet off the water.
It's the top is like a 25-foot shot.
Oh, good.
We got this hut to contend with right here.
Was that thing in our way?
Yeah, it will be from here.
What is that? What is that thing? Can you get inside of it or on top of it? What are those? Are they like observation towers of some kind?
I believe what they are is utility boxes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think what's going on is that there's probably some type of cables running through the bridge, like electric or communication cables or something, and this is how they access them. Like this is some type of junction box right here.
Yeah.
I'm not real sure, but that's my guess as to what's going on there.
Okay. Because there are several of them up along the route, right? They're not like when I see
a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. So
that might be a problem. Let's see.
Yeah. Always something, It's always something.
Oh, look, here's a this is actually way higher. So this is a marine. Wait, where are we? Are we on the south side? So yeah, this is the marine span. Actually, this is the 8-mile marine span, I think.
Oh, then we should set up on one of these caissons.
Set up right, like in the water, like on top of that thing.
Get on that thing, yeah. Because if we have a boat, we can get to there and get up on that.
Yeah, we could.
I could set up on that.
As long as we aren't chased off by Causeway police.
Oh, I thought you were going to speak to somebody.
Yeah, there's a guy I can talk to probably.
Remember, we're going to have vests on, so we'll look.
I'm wondering what this is right here. I got to figure it with. So for one of our scout runs, we've got to figure out what that is. Is that concrete or what is that right there?
Oh yeah, that is a case. It's a gigantic caisson. It's to protect the bridge. If vessels come underneath of there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. And those things are some type of just a barrier.
So that is only your observation height might be what, 10 feet maybe on top of that thing?
Yeah.
10 feet for 14 miles, 75-foot tall target. Let me look at this real quick.
Well, when you've been out on the causeway, you see the towers, right, from there?
I've seen them, but I'm not sure where I've seen them. Maybe North Shore. Let's see. 10-foot tall observer. Looking. What did I say? 14 miles.
Yeah.
So 14 miles. So 66 feet of obstruction. That's with standard refraction. So the towers are 75 feet. So you're not talking about seeing the top 10 foot of the tower.
Mm-hmm. And do they have blinking lights on the top of them? Every single one of them?
No.
Or every other one or something? They have no lights on them?
They have some about midway up.
Oh, okay.
But they only come on at night.
Yeah. I was thinking because some of this we might think about doing at night.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about going out to the causeway at night recently because I was looking at some a webcam of the causeway at night, and I was like, man, I need to go out there because they have these signs that light up, right, with put words on it and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So I should be able to see that at night, and for some reason haven't done that. I don't know why.
So between the two spots here, we've got some distance involved that's an issue. We have some sorting out to do as far as can we get on top of that platform? Can we, are we permitted to do that? Whereas over on the west side, the distance is about 4 miles.
Yeah, so
at right angles, and
here's a transmission line right here.
Okay.
From the west side.
From the west, from that riprap. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
From that spot there. See, that's a nice spot. That's good.
It is a good spot. Yeah. I'd like to go there, but if we are going to go there and bring gear out there and like actually do it for real, we're gonna have to prep it. You know, it's gonna have to be waiting for us, because otherwise we're gonna be staying on top of that rubble, and that was not an easy thing to do.
I'll trust you on that, but why don't you, if you between now and then, of course, if you do you have a video of what it looks like at that location?
Yeah, you want to see this one?
Because look, I've set up on worse. We can I can deal with that. That's not a problem. No problem.
If you think you can set up here, then yeah.
Oh yeah, no problem whatsoever.
See, this is where I walk through. That's the path that I walk through to come in.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
I mean, I felt like I was going to get bit by a snake actually up in there, so I wouldn't mind putting on some waders or something next time.
Yeah, I'll bring in my waders for sure.
Yeah.
We have a question from chat.
All right.
Eddie would like to know if some pre-sunrise photography would give you better seeing conditions before the air starts heating up.
Yeah, so the morning time conditions, unfortunately, are very hazy right now during the summer, and it's mostly because of dew point. Because essentially at night it cools down to right around dew point, and the whole air turns into basically fog. I've actually noticed that there's better seeing conditions around, I guess, 10 or 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. But the problem then is that the thermal effects start taking over, right? You start seeing the turbulence in the air, and it starts getting really hard to see through that turbulence. That's why we're hoping for the fall, because I think during the fall, what you'll see is that we will be able to come out there in the morning, and we won't have the fog to contend with, and we won't have the thermals in the morning. So that's the aim. That's what we want to be planned. We want to plan so that we are going out at the optimal seeing time. And I do think that it will be in the morning, like they said, but it'll have to be whenever the dew point is not going to affect us. Hopefully that was an over answer to a simple question.
He seems satisfied. He says thanks.
So this is another thing. Let me show you this video from that location. This is me strafing across the towers. Those are the two tall transmission towers in the back. The one that we normally see in the videos is the second one from the left. So if I back up, this one right here is the one we normally see. It sits in the foreground from the bridge. This one's almost directly behind it, but there are some videos. Actually, the Lake Pontchartrain 3 of 3 that everybody wanted to complain about. It looks CGI or whatever. Well, I did do some. I did the YouTube. What is it? Color correction, and the YouTube color correction brought out like the contrast, and you can actually see both of these towers. If you look and know what you're looking for, you can see that there's two towers. One's lined up behind the other.
Are those the real tall ones that go over top of?
Yes.
Yeah, they're gigantic, aren't they?
Yeah, that's a 210-foot tall one right there.
Yeah.
And so I strap to the right here. I'm wondering if I should speed it up. It's about a 4-minute video. So let's play it a little bit faster speed, maybe 1.5 times. But here's the transmission lines. Strapping across them, and what you'll see here is there's definitely some mirroring going on here.
Yeah.
But this is essentially where the top of the mirror is.
Yeah.
And like if we keep going, what you'll see is that the transmission lines do get higher and higher, and eventually you start seeing the tops of the pylons that they're sitting on right here.
Yeah.
And then
it's perpendicular perspective. That's all.
If you keep watching, the pylons get taller and taller.
I coined the term, so when you see it in a meme, you heard it here.
All right, Jesse. I'll know where it came from. It's all your fault.
Yeah. With atmospheric lensing.
Let me slow it down right here. So
That's really nice.
yes, look, there you go. There's the pylons coming up out of the water there.
And now you're about. Tell us when you're about at 90s. At near perpendicular.
It's pretty close right now.
Pretty close right now,
Yeah.
and now we're going to just see it go off in the other direction.
Right.
Yeah.
And it'll start going back down here in a second. Pylons start dropping back down.
What do you know about the construction of these? Do we? I wonder if we can get some construction plans, or if we know, if we can find out from the power company, are those built at the same height above the water? They appear to be, right? When you go near to them.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all sticking up out of the water at about the same height, like say plus or minus what, 3 or 4 feet with each other.
I'm at, I don't even want to put a number on it, because when you're actually there in person, they look so incredibly in line with each other that you're like, how did they do that? You know, like I'm not even. I feel like I'd do it injustice to put a number on it. Yeah. I don't really know. They're so close to one another. It's very, 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 close to being exact.
Right.
There's the Marriott.
Oh, cool. I wanted to ask you that too.
New Orleans.
That's New Orleans off in the distance there. Pretty cool.
That's a 10-mile observation right there.
Boy, this is quite a playground, isn't it? For this purpose.
And now you're starting to see in the background, you're starting to see the Dr. Hack transmission lines popping up in the background.
And that's going off perpendicular to this line, basically, right?
Not exactly.
Not exactly, but right. Off. It's going away.
Right. It's going.
I see it. Right. Yeah.
These pylons do seem to be staying quite high on the horizon. Are they?
They're going to come down.
Yeah, they should be going down sooner, though. They're beginning to challenge my.
No,
there they go.
Yeah, they shouldn't be going down sooner because of where I'm located. I'm not exactly in the middle. I'm a little further. Like if you actually look at it on the map, I'm not exactly in the middle, and I'm not exactly at a 90-degree angle. I'm just close, but they're starting to go down now.
Yeah,
I'm sure Kara will model it again for us.
Mm-hmm.
No, but that is nice. That really does.
Yeah, what I'm actually we could probably take Kara's model and just go out at this angle and look at it and see something similar. Obviously, I had this. This is just a manual straff right here. I ideally would be able to bring my telescope out there with the motor controlled tripod, but I just didn't have it. I didn't have the capacity to bring it all with me. 2 miles. If I had a 4-wheeler, it would have been perfect. That's it. Last end of it. So there's also other observations on that same day. Where am I right now? Is this Chrome? I got lost a little bit here. Where's Chrome? There it is.
Just seeing the buildings. I mean, we can do some stuff with the buildings too, off in the distance from that vantage point.
That's what I wanted to show you.
Which is pretty.
I have a video. I have a video of me actually climbing down from the top all the way down to the water and showing the difference, like in construction height. But it's so terribly choppy. Like I couldn't hold the camera straight, and it was terrible. So I ended up taking pictures instead.
Yeah.
And let's see if I can find the first one here.
Oh man, you're doing Wolfie proud. With this equipment for sure.
All right, where is it? Okay, so this is obviously by the water, right?
Yeah. Did you see his latest video going across? I forget where he is, where that lighthouse is.
Yeah.
And he just
side by side.
Yeah, he puts them side by side.
I know, that was awesome.
Really nice.
Okay, so yeah, this is down by the water, and I've tried to get a zoom level that was consistent here. Where is it? Here. I think this is it. This Marriott over here. And there's this tall building right here. Now, what's interesting about this building right here is that the Superdome is right in front of it.
Okay.
So the Superdome is completely obstructed at this point.
So this is where you're down at water level, near water level.
Yeah, this is near water level.
Okay.
And let's just step through them. Be easier to do it that way. So, what number am I on here? 56. Okay. So, okay, I'm going up. 57. Yeah, I'm getting higher here. So basically each one of these pictures I'm a little higher, and you can really see it here. Look at the pylons.
Yeah.
Go back.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So you see the pylons.
So this is over at that riprap location.
Yeah, and so
You're kind of like maybe.
I started like squatted down by the water, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what this is, and then I basically stood up a little bit, took a picture. Stood up a little bit, took a picture. Stood up a little bit more, took a picture. Climbed up a little higher, took a picture. And I keep climbing up and keep taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm climbing now to the top of that rubble, right?
Yep. Yep.
And you can see how more and more of the city is just completely
coming up.
You know, you're starting to see it.
What do you suppose the elevation difference is from the water edge up to the top of the rubble?
Yeah, so I have to estimate because I didn't want to get in the water that day, but next time bring a tape measure and we'll do this for real. But I would say that the lowest picture is maybe a 2-foot shot, and then the highest picture, which was actually on the end of my tripod while I was holding it up in the air, was probably like a 20-foot shot.
Okay.
So,
I was just curious, just ballpark.
See if I can find a higher shot. There's the Marriott on the left side again. Yeah, that's the last one. So that one was actually held up in the air. I'm holding it up, like had my tripod in my hand, holding it up in the air. So that's probably a 20-foot shot, I would say. My tripod's like a 5-foot tripod. I'm 6 foot plus my arm height is another 1.7. So that's like.
Oh, so you were literally holding it up over your head,
right,
to get a nice high shot. That's cool.
Right. So that's the highest shot there, and you can see that all these shots share the same GPS coordinates.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm basically in the same spot. All I've done is climbed up the rubble.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see here I'm getting lower again, going back towards lower. And there goes the city.
Yeah, this is a great spot.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Really good spot for like this shot right here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would like to get you here. It's definitely going to be one of the more challenging spots. Like just getting the gear there. It's a 1.9 mile hike. There's a gate at the front. If we had a 4-wheeler, we could just drive down the.
Well, you know, I usually do all this stuff by myself. So having, you know, a few of us there, it's not going to be a problem.
Right.
Bringing stuff in. We're talking about, you know, a canister that the T2 is kept in, a tripod, you know, maybe some GPS gear, a data collector. You know, it's not that much. I usually just stuff it. I usually use I've got a bag that's made for carrying large survey stakes. Nice rainbow there.
Yeah, that was a nice little bonus.
Yeah. So I just jam it all in there, and then I've got 2 free hands, and so I'll strap that on my back and then carry a couple other items. So between all of us, it won't be bad.
Yeah, to get my telescope out there, I'm going to have to figure something out.
That's the new Celestron you got? Yeah.
I got that for the Eclipse, and one of the things that's really frustrating about it is that it feels like I haven't been able to get it to get a really sharp focus, and I can't tell if it's the atmosphere or if it's actually needs collimation. And it seems like it's collimated, but I haven't had a night where I've had like clear skies yet since I've gotten it. So it's like I can't actually confirm that it's collimated.
Do you know? Do you know some astronomers, amateur astronomers that know that?
I was thinking about reaching out to Astronomy Live because we know I know some of the debunkers that know that person.
Okay.
Ask them to kind of give
Help
me
you
some
out.
tips. Yeah. Because I mean I've dabbled in astronomy before, but I am like a noob whenever it comes to astronomy. So as far as like setting up the gear and actually
Yeah.
using it properly and stuff. And I did some other observations. These are the transmission lines that Dr. Hack was using. And
Oh yeah, him.
this was taken from my telescope right here. It's in that new video I released yesterday or this morning or whenever it was. And this was actually taken from a parking garage. So this is another thing that you might be able to consider looking at is the parking garage. I'm not sure if you'd be able to get an accurate elevation for yourself from there, but
I can get real good elevations pretty easily.
okay,
Real easily, like to within an inch or so.
sweet. That's what we need. But yeah, I got some pretty cool shots from there. Then it started raining, so I couldn't really get more from there. But I wanted to show you this one last thing. So this is the Marriott, like as I'm driving up on it, and in this picture you can see the shore. So that's the full height of the Marriott right there. And this is, notice there's two buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Notice there's two buildings right here. This is the Marriott here. I'm not sure what building this is. It's office building. And there's a parking garage right here, and that's the parking garage I took the pictures of the causeway from.
Okay, so you just drove up to the top of that and went to a safe location and set up and took pictures from there.
Yeah, this whole area right here is really like kind of business district type area. So this parking garage on the weekends is almost vacant.
Okay.
So I just went up to the 4th floor, which is the last floor before open sky, and I just set up my telescope under the cover of the 4th floor.
Okay.
And just took the pictures this way, and that's what you saw in the video I released yesterday, and that's what these are up here. That's all from that parking garage.
Cool.
But I wanted to show you this. Okay, so that's the Marriott, and let's go back to my observations at the beginning of the day. So this is from the North Shore, and this is also the Marriott right here.
Okay,
I see. You notice the second building's missing, right?
Yeah.
And if you zoom in right here on this boat, the Mirage line's right here. See?
Okay.
So really only this from here up is the actual Marriott, the piece of the Marriott that we're seeing.
Yeah.
The Marriott's 30 stories. If I estimate 10 foot per story, which is how ballparked it, it's probably about 300-foot building. And that's like a 24-mile observation right there.
Wow.
And this is not a normal, like I said, this is not a normal observation because normally it's too hazy to see that during the summer. And you can tell like the Mirage. This is the bascule. This is the South Shore bascule right here. So you can see how bad the Mirage is right here.
Yeah.
But during the winter, when this Mirage is gone, one of the things that about the Mirage is that the Mirage is the water line. I mean that.
Yeah, because that's that's what it's on. It's reflecting on the water. Right. So there it is.
Right. So what you're going to see during the winter, especially, this is where I did that cars over the causeway at night.
Yeah. And
what you're going to see during the winter is that these cars actually are going to be like driving right on top of the water. And then you're going to see the causeway fall off over here. If we could get rid of this Mirage, it would be a really amazing shot.
Yeah.
It will be clear as day that the bridge is going over right there. And you can even tell right here in this picture that you see this rectangle right here. Can you see this rectangle?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing as this. It's a street sign, right?
Does it say research flat Earth?
No, it does not. But you can tell even in this picture that it feels like this one is lower.
I see that, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a lot of good opportunities for us to make observations, and especially with your knowledge and being able to figure out exactly the height of these things. I think we're on the right track.
Oh yeah, I think after this, I'm going to keep looking at more maps. Now that I know where that little spot is there, I'm going to try to dig in and maybe find some record information on the power lines themselves. Can't promise I'll come up with anything, but I'm interested in it to see, when they were built. That type of thing.
Yeah, we definitely need that information.
Hey, do you want to see a couple of pictures of a lighthouse? Maybe are we getting close to maybe wrapping this up?
Yeah, you tell me. I just want to make sure that you have the information that you need, and then we're making some educated.
No, I think this is a good way to go. We'll let's see. Share my screen.
There we go. I'm presenting you right now.
So do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. What I want to show you. Oh, I wanted to show you a couple things.
Any chatter out there, Nathan?
See these.
Sorry, it takes me a minute to unmute myself. There was a bit, and then I keep getting distracted, and I'm now going on about my favorite rant about why we shouldn't use the word bulge. I suppose I could ask the surveyor while he's here.
Do you see these were definitely some type of platform out there in the water that these are triangulation stations that were most likely a part of the construction of that causeway.
Mm-hmm.
Way back. And I just wondered if they could have been just a driven pile for the use of this, and then maybe they're gone. But those might be out there. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know
they might still be out there. There was a number of someone looked this up recently. I think it was a Scottish guy, Jane. He's one of the YouTube guys. He's done a couple of debunked videos on Ranty Rant. But Ranty Rant was talking about some buoy that he thought he had found in one of my pictures. And he ended up emailing the NOAA, and NOAA said that buoy was destroyed during Hurricane Katrina. So I'm thinking that if that buoy was destroyed during Hurricane Katrina, that a lot of anything that was like not a substantial piece of hardware might have been destroyed as well.
Well, I can find out what these were also, and they had to be substantial. They wouldn't be buoys because they're just floating. These are most likely driven piling at a minimum. Even that's what I don't know is if these were permanent or if they were just put up for the purpose of constructing that over the duration of that job. So
yeah, absolutely. Let's find out.
And if they were there, I mean, it might be something we could get on. Also.
Absolutely.
Because then we're a little bit further this way from the causeway, and we don't have anything in front of us, and if we could occupy that, and here's the power line,
yeah,
that would be a good vantage point.
That would be amazing. Yes,
if it's still there.
Let me see if I can find it.
I'll send you the coordinates for that. And
does it have GPS coordinates?
Yeah, it's going to have latitude and longitude on that.
I got you.
In fact, let me see if I still have that search. I could do that search right here. Right about here should produce that.
Another thing, Jesse, to keep in mind that Dandy told me about, which seems like I would. Oh, look. I found a rig out there. Maybe.
There it is. Here it is. Let's see what this says. I mean, it could tell us the whole story right now. It might be a temporary station.
I'm looking at something right now. It's like a rig.
Yeah.
There's a boat there. There's a crane there.
So this was called Lake Station Number 1, 1953, just to give you an idea of, when they did that. It was a first order triangulation station.
What's the Latin law?
All right, here. You want me to paste this? I'll paste it into the chat. I think can I do that? Well, here, I'm
going to send you this too. I'm going to.
Are you going
to send you something? Hang on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, somebody did ask a little while ago whether you guys were planning to use a drone, and they were very keen that you did for some reason.
I don't have a drone, but I don't think a drone would be able to see it.
Do you know anybody that has one that might send you one?
Wolfie has one. Got hints.
He has a few.
He has a few, yeah. They didn't. They say it was for dramatic purposes. I think they would wanted to see you do rising drone footage up over.
Actually, if I could get a drone that could hold a DSLR, then yeah, we could have something going there.
Ouch! Expensive.
Yes, very.
I mean, when you crash the drone and lose the drone,
lose the drone and the camera in the lake.
I guess in a way we're answering our own. I'm answering my own question. I don't see anything out here, and this probably only served a temporary purpose.
I'm seeing it's this. I sent you something in Hangouts. Check that.
To me?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can.
I'm not sure if that's a permanent thing or not, but it looks heavy duty, whatever it is.
Oh, here. You sent it over here. What would it be on the side or something?
No, it's in it.
That's so much going on. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I see it.
There you go.
Now isn't that the thing you showed me before? It's some type of a derrick or an oil rig or something out there?
No, that's a different one. I don't know what that is.
This is a different one? Okay.
Not sure.
Well, I'm going to just change topic real quick. I just wanted to show you some pictures from May that I haven't done anything with this yet. I finished the survey, but I just haven't made the video. This is the Delaware Bay, and I'm on the Delaware side. And originally, I was north of this location in this direction, looking for the Cape May Lighthouse. Couldn't see it from there, but I saw it from here. That's it. So that's a level telescope. I forget what my elevation is. I think I'm like at 11 feet or something.
It reminds me of that ship photo, or not ship, it was something. There's another photo just like this where you had the crosshairs way high.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, one of the other lighthouses, this one, I saw from the other location. Now this one here, I love this. That's a radio mast.
Nice.
Okay. I'll go back to Google Earth. Just got to go up to New Jersey.
You live in New Jersey?
Yeah. Oh, that's not. Here we go. Yeah, I live pretty near Philadelphia, right up in this area. So originally, I did a video on this, observing lighthouses on the Delaware Bay. Mm-hmm. And I was somewhere like right over here. This time, I'm down here at an area called Broadkill Beach. Here's Broadkill Sound. So I'm on I'm on the dune. There's, it's like a dune, a protective dune. I'm on the top of that and looking across. So, oh, that radio mast. That's what I wanted to show you. Is somewhere in here. Oh, where the heck is it? Yeah, I'm kind of winging this. I should prepare something. I really ought to just finish the job and do a video, but I started to get lazy about it, putting the effort into doing it. I was just happy to find it, and that's what I'm really showing you, is the fact that that radio mast I could see from the other location and Broad Kill. It's a very tall mast. That's
right.
my telescope is level there. Of course,
Right.
there's water tanks, you know, like you're just over top of everything.
Right.
Here's the water tanks, you know.
See, those are the shots that I love. The shots that I love are the ones where you see a tall object, right? And,
Yeah.
and you see that tall object and you see nothing but water up to that tall object. But
Yeah.
when you actually look at the map, like New Orleans, for example, the pictures
Right.
that I was seeing of New Orleans, like the New Orleans city is not right on the lake. It's like way far off the lake, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's all this urban, you know, sprawl that's in front of the city, between the lake and the city, that's completely obstructed.
Right.
Yeah. And so that to me is like, where's the rest of that stuff, right? So
Well, this is how things look on flat Earth.
if it were perspective, right, which is what they all want to claim, if it were perspective, then the things that were closer to you would be bigger and be more visible.
This is the thing I tell everyone: go rent one of these. You don't have to know how to operate a theodolite. Go to the builder's supply place, go to Home Depot or whatever. You can rent one of these for $30. It's an auto level. It just has a bullseye bubble. That's all you have to do.
I was thought about that, and I was thinking surely it will be like hundreds of dollars, and I'll have to rent someone who knows how to use it as well.
No, really, these are called auto levels. If you type into Google auto level,
all 2 levels. Yes, no, I only found out about them recently. They're the sort of budget version of a
This thing does not measure. It doesn't measure angles. It simply creates a level surface or a level reference. And this is kind of tilted with my iPhone sticking in there, but you know, this is something that people would use to put a pool in their backyard or a addition on your house or something. You know, it creates a level plane that you can measure from. And I just popped it up and again took another picture of the lighthouse over there. That's about 100 and I'm just guessing here, 170 feet tall, 160 feet, something like that.
Yeah, somebody ought to suggest that to Wolfie. Some of his recent observations would
to who
from having Wolfie.
Oh, Wolfie. I had always thought I looked up the specs of these P900s. I had thought that they have a built-in virtual horizon, and I guess I'm wrong about that. But some of these cameras have a virtual reference in there that probably works on an accelerometer similar to your iPhone level deal.
Right,
you know,
right.
It's going to get. It's not going to be to the nearest inch, but it certainly should be able to get that telescope somewhat level.
Well, I'm just all for the constant reinforcement that the horizon is not at eye level.
No.
Well, again, I mean, is the water, is that the horizon? Okay, and if that's the horizon, why isn't it rising to eye level? You know, yeah. I don't see that it does.
No, exactly. I want to
and
show that constantly in all in all globe videos. You know, look, it's below eye level.
Well,
the whole perspective thing that, you know, people just bark at me about these pictures. Oh, this is just due to perspective. And then I ask the question, how does perspective affect a measurement? I know that perspective makes things appear smaller farther away. Obviously, this gigantic lighthouse is quite large when you get up close to it. It looks really small far away, but that doesn't mean it is small. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is these are all positioned on the nautical charts. They're reliable for navigation. They were measured. They were measured by triangulation. Perspective doesn't make triangulation inaccurate at all. It just doesn't, you know. So when I come down in October, I think we should set up some tests to show, okay, along here, you know, you can see perspective has, you know, causes these to appear smaller as they get farther away. But that doesn't mean they are smaller, and it doesn't mean that the distance between them is smaller.
It is very odd what's going on in their minds when they talk about it, because some people will explain it quite clearly as though it, you know, it's not a real thing that's happening, but then they will allow it to have real physical effects. It's just.
But that's why I asked that question. Okay, if perspective is the reason, then what is the effect of perspective on a measurement? One last thing, and then maybe we could wrap this up. I'll show you.
Well, before we wrap it up, I'm going to invite anybody in the live chat to join us and ask questions in person.
I took a laser scanner. Oh, jeez, that's not what I wanted.
Oh, there was a suggestion made a little while back, because you know a couple of flat earthers sort of in the area, don't you? No, it is only one. I'm getting confused with the guy that Wolfie knows.
There's two guys. I forgot the second guy's name because he said he was in the area and he mentioned something in my comments. But then the guy that I've invited like a number of times, even emailed him from my personal email account. So basically just dox myself to try and get this guy to come. Andrew John. You know, he's in the area. He's been on Riley's show a couple times, and I've tried to get him to basically just meet up with me and just come join me on some of these things. And look here, you can hold the camera and take the pictures if you want to. You know, like bring your own camera and we'll discuss it. You know, we'll have a hangout about it after the fact. You know, but he doesn't want to do it. I don't know why. None of them want to do it. Now, one person, and to be honest, one person that did say that she would do it is this YouTuber called Morky Love. But I'm not, I mean, I've said this before, I'm married. I'm not going to go solo and pick up a female and bring her around.
No, but if she's nearby, can she not get there?
Right. Can
she get there with a friend or whatever? That's
what I was going for, is like, you don't need me to be there. Just drive down there, take pictures.
Yeah, right.
If you're going to be honest, right? If you want to be honest about the truth, then take your camera, post online, I'm about to drive down there and take pictures like I've done. Drive down there, take the pictures, and upload them live like I've done. Why is that so hard?
It certainly might be an idea for a future thing, though, to actually, you know, put out a video inviting someone. You know, are you interested? Come with us, and we'll do.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I could do
probably
that.
Not as the first run,
right?
You know, and of course it's all public and out in the open. So if you do rape and murder them, it'll be quite obvious who it was.
Oh my god!
Have you guys seen laser scanning? You know what I'm talking about?
I saw your video.
The 3D laser scanner. I'll show a video of it real quick. But I just wanted to get across the idea that, you know, all the attacks on surveying all come from that Robotham book, the Geodetic, whatever it's called. That, you know, his description of the surveyor's instrument. It's all wrong, but they love it.
Oh, is it really?
Oh yeah, it comes right from there. All this perspective nonsense comes out of that book. And the thing about it is, he wrote that book before precision theodolites were invented. So therefore, he couldn't have written. You know, if the Wild T2 and other modeled 1 arcsecond theodolites existed, he couldn't have written what he wrote. So, just by virtue of the invention of the modern theodolite that was used for all the geodetic triangulation, that all those descriptions do not apply to that instrument, but they get away with it, and I'm sick of arguing about it. I don't even argue about this stuff with them at all anymore. But what I thought I'd introduce them to is the idea of a 3D laser scanner. It is not affected by any of that, and so I set that up here. This bridge, all these members are the same size. And as you see, they get smaller and smaller. But guess what? It's the same size as this one over here. And a 3D laser scanner basically goes up and down, firing millions of laser pulses and scans the bridge. That's gonna be another video. I'll show like what that actually looks like.
What kind of range do you have on that?
The one I was using here is somewhat of a short range scanner, but they do have ones that will hit that water tower from this location. This particular model reached all the way to here. I scanned it from all four sides, basically. And I'll make a video at some point and just show the actual laser scanning. I might have a video I could show you of the scanner operating.
And so does that, I'm guessing it correlates those points to like a physical location, right? So like you can move your gear and take another scan and it'll put it all together in one mesh?
Exactly. You want to...
That's amazing.
Yeah, you need them registered so that they all come together into one point cloud. And
that's amazing technology.
It is. It's been around a while. It's been around for a while, but I guess it's new to the flat earthers. Darn, where the heck? You know what? Let's see if...
Well, let's be honest. Geometry is new to flat earthers. So
there it is. So you can just see it. It just goes up and down, and it's firing like 26,000 points per second. So I scanned that building. I scanned the bridge, and did some other stuff while I was there. By the way, this new one that I'm using here, this SX10, is a 1 arc second total station combined with a laser scanner, and it takes high resolution pictures, and it has an 84 power zoom on it.
What?
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wanted to show you.
What is that? Like a 50 grand piece of hardware right there?
See that? See this town over here? That's called Bristol. I took picture. You can't scan. I couldn't scan it because it's too far away. But I took some. I don't know. I zoomed right in on the town and took a bunch of pictures. Anyway, that's for another video.
Yeah, that's amazing though.
But I just thought this whole thing with the bridge.
Are you going to bring that toy with you when you come?
I do not own this toy. This was I had a chance to experiment with it, and I had to return it. But
that's a shame. Yeah,
we could rent one. I mean, if you're doing I saw you were going to do some type of fund me thing. If
well, I set up a Patreon, and
yeah, talking about that,
I've set up a Patreon, and my first Patreon is in the chat with us right now.
You give him money and he doesn't take it.
I'll hand the screen back to you. Okay?
You told me to use the money for gas money for the boat, and so that's what I'm going to use.
Oh, all right. Okay. Well, I didn't mean specifically for the boat. No, cool. Okay, that's fine.
then afterwards, you said I could buy a beer with it, so maybe I'll.
Well, that's for Andy, isn't it? Yeah, because I accidentally accused him of being a flatty or something.
There was another person that so I have two Patreons now, and I went ahead and bought the gear that I was saying that I was going to buy from the Patreon anyway, and my wife wasn't very happy about that, but I did get the gear because the eclipse is coming and I couldn't wait any longer to get that type of gear, so I did, and I'm hoping that I can get it collimated, like I said, and start using it for these other observations as well. I mean, the video I put out yesterday was pretty good compared to like the P900. It's definitely more powerful than the P900.
You hooked up your video camera to the Celestron?
Yeah, I have there's basically just 2 or 3 really cheap attachments you have to buy to hook up to a Schmidt Cassegrain telescope. Pretty much any Schmidt Cassegrain telescope works like this. You buy this T-ring that's designed for your camera, and all the T-rings have like a standard fitting for the telescope side, and then you just basically attach it as a prime lens on the telescope. And so just attaching it as a prime lens it's more powerful magnification than the P900. Now, of course, you have sacrifices, right? The P900 is an amazing machine considering its flexibility.
Right. Right.
But you can get higher magnification out of telescopes, obviously, and that's just attaching it as a prime lens. You can also attach it as what they call eyepiece projection, so you can get the gear to attach it attach it so that you can do eyepiece projection with your camera. That basically you stick the eyepiece in there and then put the camera in front of the eyepiece, and you can get crazy magnification levels with that. Like I think my scope is I think technically you can max it out around 400 raw magnification, but it has to be perfectly collimated, or else that doesn't work, and it has to be cooled down or warmed up to the outside atmosphere, and it also has to be like really good seeing conditions to actually make any use of that type of magnification.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, really, the P900, like I think you could probably get a little more magnification out of it. Like you could probably go up to like if you look at the P900, you take 2000 millimeter divided by 50, that gives you a 40 raw power magnification. If you take so if you take my telescope, which I don't know I think it's 1500 millimeters, and you divide that by 35, I think is the calculation, and that gives you the raw magnification as a prime. I think that's right. I have to look up. Actually, I have to look that up to see if I'm correct. So don't hold me to that. But essentially, what you do is you take your telescope's focal length and divide it by the eyepiece focal length, and that gives you the raw magnification. And so you can definitely beat a P900, but I think you could probably squeeze out some more magnification like from the P900 and it still be clear. But once you get over like 50, 60, or 70 right now in Louisiana, I was just looking over my lake in my backyard, which is maybe a couple hundred yards over a lake. And like I have a film of me focusing on a bucket where I'm reading the basically the label on the side of the bucket.
Wow.
And you can see it like it blurring in and out without
from the haze, from the atmosphere.
Yeah, just from the atmosphere, right?
Yeah. Well, aside from strange, one-off, atmospheric effects that cause boats to look like they're up in the sky, and all these weird things. But, aside from those, when you just have the atmosphere is distorting your view, it's hazy, it's coming in and out of focus and all that, but what it isn't doing is causing hundreds of feet of apparent fake curvature.
No,
it isn't doing that. I mean, yeah, you can find areas where you can create some weird effects if you're down near the water, but if we're up off of the water, like when I'm up there on a dune looking across the Delaware Bay, the atmosphere is not doing anything to that view. What you see, you see the curve, and it's not a clown frown. I'm not looking right and left. It's across, when you're looking at these pylons, these towers across that lake, is my screen showing or is yours?
No one's.
No one's. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're looking at what I've said to people is this is a curvature art. You're looking at a construction project that follows the curve, and you're being accused of photoshopping that. I like to see how you Photoshop a live video like that, or a video, but it's what you see. You're looking at the curve. That's what it is, and there's no more. You're not going to convince someone who doesn't want to be convinced.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that when people start talking about that the atmosphere is responsible for all this curvature, the first thing I ask myself is, have you actually gone out, or the first thing I ask them, or I want to ask them is, have you actually gone out and proven that to yourself?
Yeah.
Like, are you just repeating something that someone said? Because I can tell you what I've done is I've gone out in the field and I've actually looked at this, and I went and specifically looked for an area where I was like, I'm going to see some serious mirage here. I'm going to go film it, and try and like just look at the raw data and try and figure out what I can expect to see in the future when I see mirages. And let me show you this observation that I ended up making. And this is actually in a public, there's a public playlist that's called LaBerge Crossing Drive LSU Football Operations Nikon P900. It's a public playlist, but all the videos are unlisted. And the reason why is because all the videos are practically the same video, and I was just, it's just raw observations.
Yeah.
But let me show you this. Let me share my screen so you can see this. And here. And so what you can see here in this example is I'm looking, this building right here is 5 miles away. So the roof of this building is at LSU, and I'm sitting on LaBerge Crossing Drive, which is down Nicholson Road from LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And
are you on railroad tracks?
I'm on railroad tracks. So I'm staring straight down these railroad tracks, which, by the way, are practically level. You know, one end is the exact same height as the other end. There's a dip in the middle, but it's practically level, these railroad tracks. So I was looking out, trying to see what I could see down there at the other end. I had no idea I could see this, obviously, until I broke out the P900 on it. And there's a number of cross streets, right? And these cross streets have cars that cross them. And this is what you can see. Here's the Mirage, right? And this Mirage is literally going for miles, right? Because this is 5 miles away. And so this is, you know, this is probably a couple miles that this Mirage is covering. But what you'll notice is that the vehicles are right where they're supposed to be. See, the vehicles are right at the top of the railroad tracks, right where they're supposed to be.
Right, like that's a van sitting there.
That's right.
Is that a van? Yeah. And then you could see the other vehicles going across. Right. There he goes. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it looks like a puddle.
Right. And so the Mirage doesn't actually
like
make those vehicles.
Where's the splash?
why aren't the vehicles going down underneath that Mirage, right? They're not. The Mirage isn't actually physically relocating anything. It's
right.
It's just obfuscating what we're looking at. That's all it's doing. And this is like the prime material right here. I mean, I went and found, there's a person walking across right now.
Yeah.
I went and found like the worst possible place I could think of. Like, okay, I know there's going to be a Mirage here. I went there, looked down the tracks, and
that's beautiful.
Saw the Mirage.
Yeah.
And here, and the bonus material was that all these vehicles started driving across the road, right? They all started driving across these different intersections. And you got to remember also, because of foreshortening, that all the vehicles look practically the same height, but those are miles and miles apart, those different roads, right?
Interesting. And this is the P900 zoomed up right on them. Like,
yeah.
You got this. Look at that bus.
Right.
And then of course, as you go up and you're looking at that building 5 miles away, it's out of the Mirage.
Right. And the building is completely out of the Mirage, you know. So these are the types of things that flat earthers should be doing. They should be going out there and proving to themselves that the Mirage is actually doing something to physically relocate buildings, because it's not. The Mirage does not physically relocate objects. There it is. I mean, there's the proof.
That's a pretty cool clip right there.
And for anybody that is actually interested in this and wants to see more of it, there's a whole playlist out there with a whole bunch of observations, even one with a train coming down the track. So you can go and check it out. And there's some really clear days too. Get away from me. So this is a pretty clear day. And the cool thing about this observation is you see this white building right here.
Yeah.
So that white building is actually 2 miles further, and it's across the river. And so that's 7 miles away, that white building. And it's at this chemical plant, basically.
Uh-huh.
And it's huge. And it's just a huge, tall building. So there's things that people can do, just everyday people can do, if they're willing to make the investment in time, and they can prove to themselves, you know, what mirages really are and what the atmospheric effects really do. Because you can see right here, this Mirage is really thick, and it's like starting right here.
Yeah. No, you've really gone to some extraordinary effort here, and this is, this is really good stuff. And here, I'm saying, hey, go get a builder's level, rent it. It won't cost you more than $30. Go down to the shore, any place where you could see a town or something across a body of water.
Right.
Set it up, and answer the question. You should ask the question yourself. Why? Me being at elevation 10, I'm looking over top of water towers that are obviously 80 feet tall, or a lighthouse that's 160 feet tall.
Right.
Do a double take. Look in there again. Pick the thing up and set it somewhere else, and look at it again. Why is it doing that?
That's the whole thing. If they, if you grab a Rubik's cube and hold it in your hand and you just stare at one side of it the whole time, you're going to think it's a square.
Yeah.
But if you just turn it around in your hands a little bit, rotate it, feel it, and look around at all the different sides, you're going to realize that it's a cube. And it's the same thing with the Earth. Like, if you just go and look from different angles at all these things, your mind is going to build this mental map of what the shape actually is. And you're going to realize that it's spherical.
Soundly, I think someone in chat would like the link to this video.
Okay, there's a public playlist called... let me go back. It's a study on atmospheric effects and foreshortening. Is it public? Should be public. Yeah. It's a public playlist called A Study on Atmospheric Effects and Foreshortening. And I didn't release any of these videos as public just because they're all the same video. There's like 15 of them. I didn't want to blow up my YouTube channel with them. So I just threw them all in this one public playlist, so anybody can find it on this public playlist right here on my channel.
That's pretty cool.
And there's some, different effects, different days. This is like early in the morning when it's really hazy. This is the haze I was talking about.
It kind of looks worth sticking together in one video and dumping on your channel.
Yeah, it might be worth it. I could throw it all together and kind of comment along the lines I'm commenting now. You can actually see the railroad tracks in this one. You see, and here's the car crossing, same spot.
This is a foggy day.
This is early in the morning. This is what happens early in the morning right now during the summer.
Yeah.
Like I said, the dew point is so high. Like, it's basically the temperature will be 77 degrees and the dew point will be 78 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's a big fog, hazy mess. And when I know for a fact when the fall comes and the winter comes, we might not have perfect days, but we're going to have some days that are going to be crystal clear, and that's when I expect to have some really nice observations.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's going to be that way when I come down toward the end of October.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah,
that would be good.
Well, I mean, we'll just call an audible when we get 2 weeks away, and just start looking at the weather and see.
Yeah.
How it's
Absolutely.
looking. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm good with this. If I
shut down,
and I'd say we just take what we've looked at tonight and mull it over, keep looking at things, maybe come back and do a few more as we get more information, and come up with some good plans.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Nate, thanks for sticking around. And,
you're welcome. It was very interesting. Always interesting to hear from Jesse. I mean, you are a surveyor, engineer?
Surveyor. I'm not an engineer. No. Yeah. I guess a lot of folks think of them as being the same, but they're not. The field of engineering is all about designing and creating designs for things to be done. Surveyors deal with the existing conditions. We're the ones who map what's there. And then after an engineer will design like a road, bridge, or tunnel, buildings, what have you, the surveyor then takes that design and places it where it's supposed to be. So we work very closely together, but we just are at different ends of what's being done, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Well, it's a bit, Wolfie's a pilot or a surveyor. It's kind of very authoritative information we get from both of you on certain
I've
subjects.
always been a fan of your work, Jesse, ever since I found you. I can't remember how I found you the first time. Obviously, I think I was just, it might have been a YouTube suggestion or something, but you did a couple videos where you did the double plumb bob test where you showed that they diverged from 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And like that, after I saw that, I was like, oh man, that is just so simple. I mean, it's so intuitive. And why can't these flat earthers just go do something that simple? I mean, it really is that simple to do. So why is it they're all sitting in their mom's basement banging on the keyboard? I don't understand. It boggles my mind.
The first video I made was Geodetic Surveyor straightens out the flat Earth. And I really thought that was going to end it. I was so naive. I just thought, oh, they don't know about, they just don't know about geodesy. Well, come to find out, I mean, I made that video, and then all of a sudden, you see all the memes about, geodesy proves flat Earth. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do or say, there's the opposite answer to it. Oh. And then it goes to the extreme of all surveyors are signed on to this Masonic pact to hide the flat Earth.
Right.
Obviously, I mean, if anybody's doing it, it would be us, right? Because we're the ones out there measuring everything and doing the construction layout to place things like those towers going across that lake, and the cities and the towns and all the tunnels and bridges. Who's doing that? And if the Earth is really flat and
they don't think that complicated, Jesse. They say, who uses compasses and levels? Aha.
So but anyway, I guess I started that in 2015, and I actually pulled those videos down because I thought I don't know. I thought better of it. I still have them. I could put them back up, but they were long. I thought
I'll watch those actually.
Long. Yeah. And then I was told, oh no, you got to make a 10 or 15-minute video. So I've tried to keep them smaller now, and I just try to keep them to one subject. One simple test, one simple my level lake tests. But boy, oh boy, do you just? I don't even answer the comments anymore. I don't. For a while there, I had my comments turned off because I just didn't want to even look at
it's hard to deal with
the swarm that you draw. But so then but people were complaining. They said, no, we want the comments open, and they want to. I said, look, if you guys want to go at it with them, go have at it. So I did a channel update. It's getting to be about a year ago, and just said, okay, the comments are on. Have at it. I try to answer their questions, but it's not good enough. I'm not giving the right answers.
You're not giving them the answers they want, which is the Earth is flat. That's what they really want to hear. So.
But I'm having fun with it. This is fun.
For me, it's just about it is. It's about having fun, challenging myself to see what I can actually observe, and providing information for people that hear about flat Earth. There needs to be some opposition on the other side.
I totally agree with you. I think we're right on the same page with that.
Well, there needs to be some fresh-looking answers. Answers that have already been around for ages, but just not from some dusty old book. It's that I can do it again. Here it is again.
What you said earlier, Jesse, about you made this one video and you're like, that's it, that's going to end flat Earth, and like that's the exact naivety that I came into this with. And I said, oh, don't they know some basic geometry that'll show them,
you are kind of doing that though.
And my first video that I put out was
let's forget about those.
My first video that I put out was math, right? And I was like, this is basic. Like, look at this basic math, okay? Just follow this basic math along, and you'll realize it can't be. And then the responses, I was thinking, okay, this is going to end it. No, we won't have to talk about it anymore. And the responses to that was, you're using Masonic math. And
yeah, right.
I'm like, oh my, are you serious right now? Like,
well, like I said, I didn't go about it with the idea that Jesse, will end the flat Earth. It wasn't that. It was more of a, oh, they probably just haven't heard of this. Let me let me make something helpful and show them the history of geodesy, how the maps were made, and all that. Just maybe they just haven't seen this, and I thought that in itself would take care of it, because I'm just putting out information that exists that anybody could go look up themselves, and then you get all that the Masonic math answer, and then and I mean, I do get these comments about like it's like you're sent to the Inquisition. What do you believe? What, are you a Mason? It's like, no, I'm not. I've never.
What does my personal belief system have to do with basic physical observations?
Right.
It has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter what I believe. I could be a Satanist, an atheist, or Christian, and none of that matters when it comes to physical observations. I mean,
yeah. And speaking of observations, that's when I thought, okay, I'm going to try to steer away from calculations. I'm just going to show pictures through my telescope and find areas where you can clearly see it, either in a 1 mile test along a highway or 7,300 feet, just over a mile, about 1.3 or 4 miles across the lake. Look at that target. The target is below my crosshair. Just little simple things like that without any calculations. And that's not doing it either, but that's okay.
It's not doing it either, but those types of observations are very intuitive for 15, 16-year-old kids that are potentially vulnerable to this cult, to this brainwashing type mentality that's going on in the flat earth world. And if we can just be out there as the opposition and putting those videos out, we might not save all of them from joining, but a whole bunch of them will see it and will just kind of disappear back into their iPod doing something else instead of being lulled into this, cultish mentality.
Let me show you one more thing, and then I'll have to say goodnight. I'll show you the next simple thing that I'm trying to do. Let's see. I'll share my screen again. All right, you looking at my screen?
Yes. Oh, wait, let me present you. All right, there you go.
All right, this is a thing called a confluence, which is where a whole number of latitude and longitude intersect.
Oh, look at that. That is nice.
And this is out in this golf course. And I had been to this location a few years ago, and I just stood there and looked around. I said, okay, here's where 40 and 75 intersect. Well, don't you know, the guy who takes care of this golf course has so many people coming here looking at this. He put this plaque here.
That's awesome.
he put it here based on somebody coming out here with some GPS and marking the spot. I think it's here, but I could be wrong, because when I was here, the weather, there was a huge lightning storm pulling my observations over a little bit. But I'm going to come back here. This is not a good shot, but I'm like,
oh, so you're saying that X is where it actually is?
I think so, but it's
on the plaque.
Yeah, it's on the
plaque. I mean, can't complain. But let's see what
it just reminded me, like some other famous locations, and then you find out that they've put the marker away from the real place because they don't want those people traipsing all over whatever it is.
Here, I'll show you what I did, and this is for a future visit. Again, it's just going to be a simple test. So I put my data into the software that I use. Where's the pictures? Let me shut some of these down. That's that one. I've got so many things open now, I'm just confusing myself. That one. I think what I did was I set out I was going to put a point at 40:00:05, 5 seconds to the north on the meridian 75, but it turned out I couldn't do that. So I ended up going south. So I went 39, 59, 55. So I put a mark 5 seconds southward from that plaque on the meridian 75:00, and I set one to the east. Yeah, at where the heck did I put it? Now my pencil's covering it up, but you'll see it here in the software. So I've got a point here, and there's the plaque, and here's the mark that's south. So basically it's a upside down letter L, you know. And what I'll do is, as I've done in so many other tests, is demonstrate what does that mean? What does latitude and longitude mean? And I'm going to have to draw some good pictures of this, because I'm going to sit here and measure the plumb line tilt between these 2 points, and it should be around 5 seconds, because that's where I have it set at this. Yeah, I'm pretty close. So I'm on 40, you know, within some squibs of seconds, and at 75, 59, 50, or 74 rather, 59, 55. So I'm 5 seconds to the east, and then here I'm 5 seconds to the south from that plaque. So basically, when I measure zenith angles, they're called reciprocal zenith angles, using that 1 arcsecond theodolite, I'm going to find that there's about 5 seconds of tilt between these 2 points. I guess that's complicated, but to me it's very simple, and I'll have to draw it so that people understand. You know, when you look at that curvature chart everyone uses, that someone drew in AutoCAD, you know, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at that curvature. I'm going to give my screen back.
Well, yeah, definitely like a diagram would probably help to make it simpler. But the idea is basically you're showing that a geometric shape, if it were flat, it should make a certain geometric shape, and if you try and do that on a sphere, it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't fit.
Basically, if the Earth is flat, then there should be no tilt of these plumb lines. They should be parallel with each other.
Exactly.
You know, whether it's 100 feet away or 500 feet away. So what does it mean to be at 40 degrees and 5 seconds? You know, what does it mean to be 5 arc seconds away from that? So you can literally do that. That's why I chose this spot. I figured, hey, this is a really simple place to come, where these two lines intersect, 40 and 75, 40 north, 75 west. What does it mean to be 5 seconds to the east of that? And can that be measured? Yeah, it can. So that's for a future trip. I'll go back over there and measure that and make a video. Maybe I will. I'm starting to lose. I like going and making the measurements, but I'm like not liking making the videos anymore.
Well, that's a shame, because I like watching you going and making the measurements for me.
Yeah, then I'll do it. I'll make it.
Yeah.
I should get that done before October.
I do think some of the things that you and other people are making video-wise have got a broader appeal than just flatties and globers. You ought to try maybe marketing your videos a bit more broadly around YouTube, or rebranding them on a slightly broader basis.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know what.
Because I don't watch them, because I don't watch your videos, because I need to be shown that the world is
right
a globe.
Well, you know, it's interesting because everything we do in surveying now involves GPS, and GPS is a taboo with flat earthers. They say it doesn't exist, satellites don't exist, or it's done from cell towers. I don't know if you've ever watched the video I made where I literally do a test and I go out into the woods far away where there is no cellular signal.
I haven't seen that one.
Demonstrate. Did you watch that one?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Yeah. It's called GPS antennas are on buildings. Here's proof. So I'm mocking that whole, the antennas are on buildings. But the actual files that come out of the GPS receiver indicate the actual location from which the signal was transmitted. So we have the coordinates of the transmitter in the file.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the range measurements from the origin of the signal. That's how GPS works. And I've always said, I mean, if you're going to say that it comes from cell towers, then you have to say how. How do they fake that? Tear it apart. These files are, you can convert them to ASCII text, and you can learn what's in the file. So I made a video about that so people can look at that. But again, it's technical. But see, that's the thing is, they don't want to look at the technical aspects. They just want to believe that there are no satellites. Why? Because satellites orbit a center of mass.
And Jesse,
yeah.
So I just got dropped out. Something happened with Chrome crashing. I got dropped out of the Hangout. I think I'm back in as soundly and not as soundly minded. So I'm pretty sure that this Hangout's going to end like within a few minutes because I can't figure out how to get back in as soundly minded.
All right, no worries.
I've been trying to bail out a long time.
It's
fun talking to you guys. So I'm like, it's just hanging in here. But why don't we just say goodnight and we'll do it again?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a good enough spot as any.
Thanks, Nate.
Thanks, Nathan. That was great. All right, guys. Good night.
Bye-bye. How do I end it?